You're the guy people call when they need a helping hand, moving furniture, unloading a truck. But lately, your shoulder's been acting up, and you're the one who's calling for help. And that's the moment you realize you can no longer shoulder the load.
The Joint and Spine Center is Cincinnati's leading destination for orthopedic care with a range of surgical and non-surgical treatments. So when a moment has the power to change the rest of your life, go to the one place with the power to change it for the better, the Christ Hospital Health Network. This changes everything.
The Pound This Podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This Podcast, episode 606, Shay's Weight Loss Journey, Weekly Updates.
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This Podcast with Amanda Valentine.
Thank you so much for listening to the Pound This Podcast. I'm Amanda Valentine. Shay is back.
Hello.
What's going on?
You know, not a whole lot.
How was your week?
I had a kind of a rough week, but I'm still here, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, today, as we're recording this, is a great weather day. It's a good day to get out and go for a walk.
That's what I'm doing because I don't have to work until this afternoon. So
right on.
Heck yeah. I'm going to walk and get a coffee.
There you go. It's the small wins of like, oh, the sun's shining and it's 60 degrees. I mean, I saw the weather is supposed to turn to crap next week, but I mean, it's December. So it's December in Ohio. So it shouldn't be great, I guess. But again, it's like those, like just the difference of like, I felt this yesterday. I'm like, sun.
I know.
Like, ooh, that just makes me feel so much better.
I know. I was like, I'm not wearing a coat today, man. I'm just like soaking in that vitamin D.
Right. It's like all of a sudden it's Arizona.
I know.
Not really.
I didn't think we would have more warm days like this. So I was super, super excited about it.
So for this week, I mean, you don't have to go into it. With the things that you had difficult was your eating and exercise difficult, or just life is difficult?
Well, life is difficult, and then I'm using food to cope with that.
Gotcha.
So like exercise is fine, but food was rough this week. So
totally understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like, and plus, I mean, traditionally always this time of year is always difficult anyway. December is just, and I feel like I was just having a conversation with somebody earlier this week of let's just even take COVID and everything else out of it, that like January and February are just such bummer months. And I feel this is a thing that I hate about like right after New Year's is like Christmas is so like warm and cozy and like, you know, like twinkle lights and like just like Christmas lighting, or just this time of year is just like that cozy warmness. And then as soon as the holidays are over, it just feels like cold. It just feels cold, gray, sucks. And so that on, you know, in a normal year is such a bummer that everything going on this year. And as we're kind of seeing what COVID numbers are doing now, or the predictions are like really grim of, the person I was having the conversation with was just like, I'm anticipating a very dark January and February. I'm like, that's fair. Like, you know, not to be like pessimistic, glass half empty, but it's also just, I think, at least for me, helpful to like brace yourself of like, yeah, things are to have the, you know, and then I guess expect the worst and be surprised when things are better, I guess. I don't know. That of just brace yourself for just, this is just time of year is just difficult. And it's times by 100 this year.
I know. It's like on top of like seasonal depression that we already get. It's like times 100.
I will say though that my coping mechanism in the past couple of weeks is just to go slightly overboard with Christmas presents. Just because I really love giving gifts. Like I really like trying to think of like the perfect thing or something that's really good. And like, then I get so excited about thinking that person opening up this gift that I think is so good of like, oh my God, you're going to love it. And so like this year, again, just like to cheer myself up, I'm like, I shouldn't be spending this money. Like this money, I should be chilling this year. Like I should be, you get a Christmas card and a virtual high five, we done. But instead, I'm buying all sorts of dumb crap because I'm like, oh my God, I'm just going to bring happiness to everyone around me.
Oh my
And so that's where
God.
I'm like, okay, I need to make a short list of people I'm going to buy stuff for. So I just like don't go full bonkers. And so, but I've been having a lot of fun doing that, of thinking of like Christmas gifts to buy. I've been spending a lot of time on Etsy.
Oh, I know. But I've got some really good Christmas gifts from Etsy this year.
Your
So.
Christmas card is pretty amazing.
Oh my gosh, girl. I go all out.
Of you as Santa with a mask on, with toilet paper and hand sanitizer, and Sebastian, your cat.
Yep. For 4 years now, we've sent out a Christmas card together, and they get more epic every year.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I was not expecting that in the mail. And it's funny because you're the first card, because I, put the cards up on like the mantle of my fireplace. You're the first card up there that is not from like a company or a brand. Like I have a Christmas card from Chewy.com. And I have a Christmas card from my State Farm agent.
Oh my God.
But I'm like, they're cards. It makes it festive.
My State Farm agent did not send me a card.
Oh, they don't like you.
Ugh.
Yeah, they know I got 2 cars and homeowners. They're milking me.
Jeez.
Right?
I've got renters and car insurance, okay?
Renter's insurance is like $11 a month, though.
I know. It cost me $98 for the whole year.
Yeah, see, that's not bad. I mean, the homeowners isn't like too terrible, but whatever. Yeah, so, and the funny thing is in the past, I've gotten Christmas cards and I immediately throw them away. Just because I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. But then this year is the year that I'm like, Christmas cards make me feel so festive. I'm like, thanks, Chewy.com.
Oh my God. Well, since the shutdown, since quarantine, all my neighbors have been working from home, so I've got to know them a lot better. So this year I gave the girl that lives below me, I was like, girl, go check your mailbox. You're getting one of my Christmas cards this year. And then yesterday while I was at work, she was like, girl, check your mailbox. You're getting one of my Christmas cards this year.
See, I don't know. It's just different this year. I don't know. This stuff just feels more fun. Although I know we're getting way off on a tangent here, but like, definitely I feel very bad for all of the delivery drivers because so much of my stuff has been backlogged that I've ordered, and like they are just. Yesterday I watched like there was like 3 dudes that hopped out of a UPS truck and just like scattered down the street and like dropped off their boxes and came back, and I'm like, man, like they gotta be so freaking busy.
Oh.
So I'm thinking about pulling one of those things. I like leave out some snacks and stuff. Although apparently, there's porch pirates in my neighborhood, which is why I got subpoenaed to go to court because somebody stole something. So I guess if I put some Fritos out on my front porch, then I don't know if I'm going to
drive by.
Right? All the robbers in the neighborhood are going to come to the snacks house.
And then you're really going to end up in court.
I guess, which I want to ask your opinion on something. So, okay, so what happened is a package was stolen. It's something I didn't even order. Was stolen out of my mailbox. I had no idea it was actually stolen. And then there was a ripped off piece of notebook paper with it saying like, hey, this is the cops and your package was stolen. And it was written in handwriting that looked like my great grandma did it. It's some Dust Bowl Depression era loopy grandma handwriting. And I'm like, this seems like fake. Like, this doesn't feel real. Like I saved it, but I'm like, this kind of feels like some like sort of like marketing of like, there's robbers, miss, you better get that ADT package, wink. And so I just wrote it off until I got a subpoena last week saying that I'm due in court. And then it's been nothing but a series of phone calls of trying to talk to the prosecutor to be like, I don't understand why I'm a witness. I didn't witness a damn thing. And so she finally called me back this week and she's like, and I'm like, I didn't see anything. I thought this was all fake. And I'm like, it seemed very like not professional. Like from like, hey, in handwriting, this is the cops. Like what? And so she's like, well, you have to come to court to say that he didn't give you permission to steal your stuff. And I'm like, I didn't see anything. And she's just like, but I need you to do that. And I'm like, so I just come to court and I say, I didn't give this dude permission to steal a package from me, and then I get to leave. And she's like, well, there's 20 things on the docket before you, so you're probably going to be there all day. And I'm like, so I'm like, how am I, like, I'm just expected to not work that day. And I'm like, and I got to go hang out at the courthouse for however many amount of time during a pandemic. I'm like, you know, it's just like, I'm like, I didn't see anything. I don't know how I'm useful at all. I'm like, can I just like write a certified letter or something saying like, yeah, this dude stole this from me? She's like, no, that's not how court works. And I'm like, that sucks. And she's like, that does suck. And so, and I'm like, she's like, well, it's up to you if you want to come or not. And I'm like, well, I don't. I mean, you're asking me, I don't want to come, but I also don't want to get in trouble for not showing up to court. And she's just like, I won't file a warrant for your arrest. And I'm like, okay, so do I trust you? And so now that's where we left it. I'm supposed to go to court on Monday. I'm like, do I just trust that she's not going to send a warrant out for my arrest? I don't have anything in writing, or she's going to forget this phone call, or do I just show up to court anyway? I'm like, she gave me permission not to show up, but now I'm afraid of just like, because hashtag 2020, how is this year going to like bite me in the ass? If like, I don't know if it's going to hold up in court if I don't show up. And then they're like, I'm like, yeah, she told me on the phone it was okay. And they're like, yeah, we don't believe that. You know what I mean? I'm like, am I going to go to freaking jail now? So would you show up or not?
Oh, I don't know, dude, because I'd be nervous about the warrant thing, but I wouldn't, it just seems pointless for you to go. You didn't even see him steal it. It wasn't like it was something important. So
yeah. And I guess he went up and down the street taking packages. And so she said, but each one is its own individual case. So those people, my neighbors, also got subpoenas too, for their individual cases.
Can you ask them what they're doing?
I don't know which neighbors it is, because it's just like, you know, in the general area of around my street. And so, yeah, so I'm like, I got permission to not go, but I'm just super afraid that I'm going to get burned if I don't. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, like it'd be nice if she could give you written proof that she told you don't have to be there.
I know. Whatever. This year is so weird.
Well, yeah, because like you said, it's 2020. So watch you not show up and then you get arrested. And I'm going to laugh about it.
I mean, yeah, then I guess I got a prison story.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
you
go
need
to
to
prison,
think about
though.
the story you're about to have.
I guess, like, I don't know. Does that go on your record forever? Like, I don't want to have a rap sheet for something dumb and lame like that. Like, it's going to be like public indecency or something. If I get arrested, it's going to be because I'm doing some wild stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Which I almost did once because we had a campfire on a public beach and the rangers got very upset with us, and played a good cop, bad cop routine on us for having a campfire.
Oh my God.
That's a whole nother story. And my friends make fun of me too, because at the time I had just moved to Cincinnati, or it was like I've been in Cincinnati like a year or something. But before that I was in Oregon for 2 years. Before that I was in Colorado for 3 years. And before that I was in New York for 5.5 years. And so they couldn't find me in the system because I didn't have my driver's license on me. And they're just kind of like, it doesn't show that you live in Ohio. And I'm like, oh, well, I've been all over the place. And my friends are like, you sound like a drug dealer. Shut up.
Oh my God.
And then they're like, what's your driver's license number? And I'm like, I don't know. And then my friends, this has been an ongoing argument with me and my friend Jeanette. She's like, who doesn't know their driver's license number? I'm like,
I don't.
Who the hell knows their driver's license number? I'm like, I know my social security number, but I don't memorize my driver's license number. She's like, everyone memorizes their driver's license number.
No.
I'm like, what? No. Is this a California thing?
No, I literally know my social and I happen to know my license plate number, and that's it.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I'm doing a lot of online shopping, I memorize my credit card number.
I don't even do that. I don't know my license plate number either. That, yeah. Anywho, back on track. So we also, you talked about going for a walk today because it's nice outside, but we also went to Pilates this week.
Sure did.
Going to Pilates. And so is that still feeling good for you?
Yeah.
Yay. Me too. I actually went to physical therapy this week because my back problem's flaring up again. And I'm like, Pilates is good for this, right? She's like, yes, 2 thumbs up. I'm like, oh, yay.
You're like, I'm doing something right.
I know. Cause I'm like, she's like, well, what are your goals with Pilates? Are you trying to do strength training or doing other stuff? I'm like, my goal right now is to move my body in a way that I don't feel pain. and that is achieved on the reformer and Pilates, that I know exactly what my triggers are: lunges, bridges, and why am I blanking on the other? Planks are no bueno for the low back for this lady. But everything else, I don't feel scared to do like I can trying to do stuff on my own. And so I'm like, yeah, 100s across the board for Pilates. But I know me and you have totally different things. Like your body is like not all broke ass like mine. So like, I feel like you have a different,
Thank God.
right? That you have a different, probably a different experience with it than I do, or a different set of goals.
Yeah. I just like that it's a new like way to exercise for me. So, because I really enjoy exercising. I never thought I would be somebody that does, but it's nice to have a variety of ways to work out.
Yeah. And just like all the core work.
Yeah.
Where you can really feel it. But at the same time, like, I feel like if you're kind of doing your classic core, like what people think your core work is, it's like, sit-ups or crunches or something, that there is a lot of room for error on those, of not having the correct form, not doing it right, where it's not even doing anything, or you're yanking from your low back. And you could be hurting yourself even more from doing those sorts of things. So that's where I'm like, everything that I've ever done in the past that I believed was helping my core was essentially just kind of trash with the way that I was doing it. And so I feel like that this has been like, that's been a game changer for me.
Yeah. Well, that was my biggest concern when I started working out, was not hurting myself, especially because I was and am still like a bigger person. I didn't want to hurt myself. So like hiring Josh was part of that. And then now I can do Pilates and I know I'm not going to hurt myself that way.
So do you have any interest in doing anything off the reformer, like doing any of the mat classes or PYO classes or anything? Or are you just like cool to stick with which with the reformer?
I wouldn't mind to try that. I'm pretty much down to try anything once.
Yeah. Well, just like we got to work on doing the Richard Simmons, man, Sweating to the Oldies.
Yes.
I've left that tab open in my browser here. So at least I can speak for the Cincinnati library system. If anybody is listening in Cincinnati and you have a library card, and if you don't, go get a library card. It's free. And you can get so much good stuff from the library, that multiple of the Sweating to the Oldies things are just on demand, just like watch virtually on, like, you don't have to pick up the DVD. Like there's a couple of them that you can go and like, check out the DVD, but like all of it is just streaming. Like it's just streaming for free from the library. Richard Simmons in his short shorts. So we're going to have to like plot this out where we can like legit do this.
I feel like I need to buy an outfit for this.
Oh, I got some for you. I got all sorts of weird stuff. I have a lot of.
Well, I gotta come dig through your closet.
I got a lot of windbreakers. I have a lot of windbreaker outfits. Outside of the windbreakers, and I have a lot of 90s sweaters, but that would be too hot. I also have just like a large amount of just random costumes. Just a lot. I have like 2 Rubbermaid tubs full of costumes.
Yes.
So yeah, you can wear anything like that. If you want to be a sun or a moon, I have a sun and moon costume that I wore to the total eclipse a few years ago. Because if everybody remembers the total eclipse, which definitely feels like a different lifetime now. Like, oh my God, remember that was a big thing? Not what we're living in now. That was more fun for everybody to get on board with. Which I did go to, like the Hopkinsville, Kentucky, where they had that, like where it was the total eclipse. It was so cool. It was so freaking
that's
cool.
awesome.
It was really cool. I have those. I have, oh my God, I have multiple T-Rexes. I have a slutty Ninja Turtles costume. I have, oh my God, I can't even remember all of them right now. I have, If You Want to Be 11 from Stranger Things. I was that one year. Ace Ventura, Guy Fieri or Fieri or however you say his
my
name.
God. That's
The
awesome.
list goes on, so you choose. Oh my God. So
I don't know if I'll be able to make a decision.
right? Well, then we could just do multiples. Just, you know,
We'll have outfit changes.
right? It's like Cher. So do you anticipate anything over the course of the next week to be anything ease up, or just kind of just like see what happens, or any obstacles that are coming in the way?
I'm going to be working a lot next week, which can either be a good thing because I'm distracted, or it'll be stressful. Kind of got to see how that goes. But otherwise, I'm not doing anything socially, so that's not an obstacle really right now.
Mm-hmm. Just that fun, emotional eating.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Right? Yeah. I totally feel that. I feel like I've been better with that over the course of the past month or so, but man, yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. It's like I feel like I have it under control, and then something happens and I'm like, "Oh, no, you do not have it under control."
Yeah. Changing gears again to a more fun question. I asked this to Josh on a podcast earlier this week, and I want to ask you too, of what your it's a homework assignment. It's of like, what's your top 3 favorite movies? And I'll tell you mine, and then we can like swap movies since we're like social distancing and we're all staying at home. We can like watch some of each other's favorite movies and like be introduced to new movies.
Girl, thank God you let me know ahead of time that you were going to ask me that.
So you had to think about it. You've never thought about your favorite movies before?
I mean, there's just so many movies that it's hard. And I didn't want to sound like Josh on the podcast and be like, I can't come up with a third.
I only remember one of his answers too. He said Into the Wild.
The Awakening or something.
Oh, I don't think he meant that his favorite movie though. I don't remember what else he said. Oops, sorry, Josh. I'm sure he can't remember anything I said either. So,
Dan in Real Life is one of them.
Oh, I've never seen that.
It's such a good movie.
Okay, I'm writing this down. Dan in Real Life. Is that new?
No.
Okay.
It's got Steve Carell in it.
Okay, right on.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And then The Hunt for the Wilder People.
Oh, I've never seen that either. You don't happen to know if any of these are streaming, do you?
I have no idea.
I'll rent them if I can.
Napoleon Dynamite's another one of my favorites.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, that's solid.
I've done his dance at a talent show.
I know. See, when we do Sweat into the Oldies, you might have to bust that out.
I could just wear his outfit. I've still got it.
You just need to start doing TikToks in that. I've seen multiple Napoleon Dynamite TikToks.
Yeah, I used to just randomly wear that around my parents' house when I was depressed. I was like, I'm going to put on my Napoleon Dynamite costume and just wear it.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
It really
But my
helped.
lips hurt real bad.
I know. I went through a couple drive-thrus dressed like him.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Of course, I asked for a McFlurry, and they're like, the machine is down, and I was like, damn it.
Oh my God, I love it. When that movie first came out, the first time me and Mike watched it, we're like, this is because it was so hyped. We're like, this is okay, I guess. And then when we watched it a second time, then we're like, okay, we're obsessed with this movie now. And then we became obsessed with it. And I remember our coworkers at the time, we had a coworker, unfortunately named Tina at that time. Like, Tina, eat the food! And she would just be like, what are you guys talking about? And so she watched Napoleon Dynamite, and then she came back. She's like, that was the stupidest movie I've ever seen. I cannot believe you guys made me watch that. She's like, you just wasted my life. We're like, you're missing out because that movie is awesome.
I remember watching that for the first time, and I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard.
Oh my God. See, that's how I was with Dumb and Dumber, which is why it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, what are yours? Dumb and Dumber?
Mine are American Beauty, Dumb and Dumber, and Harold and Maude.
I haven't seen any of those.
I think Harold and Maude is older. It's like from the 70s. So if you can, you know, if that bothers you, seeing the old like 70s look, but I think that you'll like it because it's a lot of really dark suicide humor, but it's also like this awesome love story.
Okay.
I don't know. It might be an acquired taste. I mean, that's kind of it might be like a pull for people. I know a lot of people don't like want to watch older movies if they haven't seen it before, but I love Harold and Maude. Like, it's like, yeah, it's a movie that I just like love and I could watch over and over again, which I feel the same thing about American Beauty. I saw that whenever I was a teenager and it was just like something flipped in my head that I like loved it so much, which is weird because it's like not a movie meant for teenagers. And then Dumb and Dumber is like one of those movies, like I was just the right age and it just freaking killed me. And I still just think it's hilarious now. Like, I just think it's just like so freaking good. And then another movie I saw a TikTok about yesterday that like used a clip that I went right over my head as a kid that makes me want to rewatch it is Austin Powers. Because I was super obsessed with Austin Powers when that came out too. That I was like just the perfect age to be like, this is freaking everything. I mean, I had a collection of Austin Powers toys that I kept in the boxes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I also, for a minute too, oh my God, we're not even talking about any health and fitness in this podcast really at all. But like, I was also went through a period of time that I was really obsessed with Garfield.
Oh my God. He's relatable though.
Oh my God. I had the Garfield phone. I had a Garfield alarm clock. I had Garfield birthday cakes. I was just all about Garfield. And I'm like, I also want to lay around and be a little douchebag and eat lasagna all day.
And have that be fine.
Right? A thing that is funny though, oh my God, so many tangents, is, I'm sure it still exists, it's up online, was it called Garfield Without Garfield? Where they take Garfield out of every single comic strip and it just makes John look like an insane person.
Oh my God. I'm going to have to look at that.
I mean, makes it really dark.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I always wonder who comes up with that kind of crap.
It's stuff like that all the time where I'm like, oh my God, who has ideas for this stuff? Where I'm like, I would label myself as a fairly creative person. And then you see things that other people do and you're just like, whoa, this person's operating from space. Like, how do you think of this stuff? But yeah, anyway. Oh man, yeah, I just feel so bad that I've been like, I'm sorry for everybody listening. They're like, when are they going to start talking about what they're eating?
You don't want to know.
Oh my God. Well, I guess I will. What's your go-to comfort food then? When you emotionally eat and you're feeling like I need food to make me feel better, what's your go-to?
I mean, I have multiple go-tos, sadly, but I got to have something salty and something sweet.
I hear that.
So yeah, I mean, I really like pizza. Pizza and ice cream, man.
Solid choices. I was going to say maybe like a Muddy Buddies. And then you got like the Chex Mix with the like chocolate and the powdered sugar.
Yeah, that's good too.
One thing I do miss about holidays is like homemade Chex Mix. I feel like that's like a family gathering sort of thing. That is so freaking good.
But I can literally like, there's a client who brings in like the huge thing of the puppy chow, which is like,
the Muddy
like
Buddies.
crack.
Yeah.
It's literally like crack. And everyone else that I work with can like grab a handful and go on with their day. I literally can't stop eating it once I start. So I'm like, I'm hoping that no one brings it this year because we probably shouldn't all have our hands in the same freaking like big tub. But I have to be like, I can't even try it because if I try it, I'm going to take the whole tub to the bathroom at work and just eat it.
Yeah. I do have a question for you though, because I know a lot of people have been running into this problem with wearing masks at work all day, which you do. I mean, you're a hairstylist, so you're wearing a mask and standing all day. That people are having a hard time drinking water throughout the day because you have your mask on. So how do you get around that?
That was hard at first because I used to just keep my water bottle like at my station with me, and I would like just take a quick drink between clients or sometimes even when I had a client. But obviously I can't do that now. So literally chug water between each client. And partially because I drink so much water. If I don't drink any water for like an hour, I am so thirsty. So I just have to make sure that I like take that time. And it's kind of like time where I'm like, I don't even care if I'm running 5 minutes late. I'm still going to go back and get a drink of water because I feel like I work better. And it's a moment where I can just go and chill for a second. But I also make sure that I have, like, I right now have a big water bottle that I just know if I drink 2 of them, that's a gallon. So that helps me kind of gauge how much water I'm drinking. Whereas if I have like a cup of water, I'm not going to take the time to go refill it. And I'm not going to like really be aware of how much water I'm drinking. So I think it's really important. Like my 12-hour days, I take a gallon of water because then I can, I know I don't have to fill anything back up and I can see how much water I've actually had for the day. So I just think it's important. I really like 30 minutes to an hour to just freaking chug some water.
That makes sense. And I've also, because I'm not working a job like that right now, so that's not a worry for me because I'm working from home mostly. But going to, the gym where mask wearing is, required, like I've noticed that I'm just so trained to bring a water bottle with me. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to bring this because, it's like, it's awkward of like, you're moving around to drink your water when you're not supposed to take your mask off. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Then I'm like, I was wondering if a straw would help. Like if you could just stick the straw up under your mask.
It probably would.
I'm like, that seems like a better solution. But I also I've totally avoided doing any sort of cardio at the gym because I'm like, I don't want to sweat my ass off and not have water while I'm like on this machine. So that's changed my habit with that I'm still figuring that out. But that's why I'm glad I bought this like hella crappy spin bike in my house. I mean, because it gets the job done. It's so loud because it's so rusty. But I'm like, at least I can, because I'll chug an entire huge bottle of water in like 20 minutes because I'm like, you're busting your ass on it. And I'm like, I can't do that at the gym. So I'm grateful that I could go on Facebook Marketplace and make that purchase where I know like you can't do that because you have an apartment.
Yeah, my neighbors would kill me.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, well, and I don't even feel like I feel bad like walking back and forth through my apartment because I have like no people live below me and now they're working from home. So like before I wouldn't mind to like walk around my apartment all day long because no one was freaking below me. But now it's like the girl who lives down there is working all day. So I just feel like I'm like, we have these old wood squeaky floors and I'm like, I know they can hear me freaking doing laps in my apartment. So
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. So I'm like, I will seriously find like the quietest spot on the floor and just walk in that same spot.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you could do like some sort of like band workouts or something. Like there's definitely stuff you could do that you don't have to jump around or move around a lot with. But that's also, you got to enjoy that. You know what I mean? If like, you don't like doing band workouts, well then, okay. Then now what?
Right. Well, when I first started like this journey, I would only let myself watch TV if I was walking in place. While I was watching TV. So then I was the same way. I would like find the quietest spot on my carpet and then just walk and watch TV.
I have done that before too, for sure. Yeah. I used to do, this is before my knees went to total garbage. At the time I was working like this, like nationally syndicated radio. So I would go into a studio and you're by yourself and I was on in all 50 states. You're on hundreds of radio stations at a time and it is not fun. I suppose it should seem like it's cool to be like, I'm on the radio everywhere, but it's not. It sucks. And so you're just constantly for 45 minutes straight, sitting and just talking nonstop, recording all these breaks, doing people's locals weather and doing all this stuff. For anybody that has any interest in radio, like the person you're listening to is probably not in your city. It's all pre-recorded. I should just do a podcast on like the inside of radio if anybody cares and just ruin it for everyone. And so what I would do is like you would just be cranking it so hard for 45 minutes. And then you would have like a 15-minute window until you would have to start the next hour. And I would just get up and do jumping jacks. So
my gosh.
In that window, I would like go pee, refill my water and just like do jumping jacks until I had to start just talking nonstop for 45 minutes again. But like, it was just that same thing of just like doing something like standing, watching TV of like, I could just keep sitting there or I could have like done something. I'm like, no, you get up and do at least 100 jumping jacks, like get up, move. And at least that put it in the cycle of like during this time when this break hits here or whatever, then, I would end up leaving a shift. So I'd be on the air 4 to 5 hours and I'd leave doing, 5 to 6, 700 jumping jacks.
Jeez, girl.
Right. But I mean, it also just made me feel bad. It's also like just like a nice reset, especially if you're working from home and you're doing that stuff. Like it's so easy just to like, I did this yesterday. I'm getting another certification and I've been studying and doing all this stuff till almost everything just starts to seem like mush. Like when you're on so many Zoom meetings or any of this crap that it's like, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to spend the next hour just like power cleaning my house. And then I'm going to come back to it just to like flip it. You know what I mean? Or just like, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes of jumping jacks, push-ups, something, slamming a thing of water, of just doing something to just jolt you out of it, is like super helpful. But it's, again, if like you make the pattern out of it, or even set like a timer on your phone of like, okay, every half hour, if you're in a workplace, it's hard to just do jumping jacks. I was just alone in a sad studio by myself, for hours. Like it's so crazy, this place. It was just like, it's just hallways full of studios and for radio recording, but I would never see anybody. Like everybody was just kind of a ghost. You come in and you just like do your show. I was on 4 different country formats. I was on so many radio stations at one point that I had to change my name and have a fake name because in some cities I was competing against myself.
Oh my God.
So on one of the formats, I was just Amanda Valentine, like I always am on everything. And then in one of the formats, I was Becca Brown.
Oh, yeah.
And so in some cities, you could like turn on one radio station, be like, "Hey, I'm Amanda Valentine," and on the next radio station, be like, "Hey, it's Becca Brown," but it's just me. Isn't that weird?
That is so weird.
And so that's why it's just like, you're just talking to yourself. It's not fun. You don't even see anybody there. There's nobody to hang with. Every studio is built for like a morning show with 4 microphones. And then there's just like no shows, just like nobody. And while I was there, this was 2000. I'm going in so many tangents this podcast. It was like 2012. That they went through massive layoffs and laid off a ton of people. And then you have even less people working on so many radio stations. Like, it's just bonkers, man. Like,
it's insane.
That's how I feel like people are doing a lot of at home, like work from home stuff now. It's like you have this insane work volume, but you're just like so alone. And it's like, it messes with your head. Like even I'm an introverted person. And it still makes me nuts.
Yeah. A lot of my clients that haven't lost their jobs are now working for like 5 people. Like they've just taken on so much work because of layoffs that I don't know. I feel like if you have a job, it's stressful. And then if you don't have a job, it's stressful.
Yeah. I think that people don't take that into account when you are trying to lose weight, and like that, how the stress will jack you up. And even for me, I did, which I'm going to talk about this more in depth once I have some more answers, but doing a ton of blood work I did a couple weeks ago, that my cortisol levels are 3 times higher than they're supposed to be, which is not good. And when your cortisol levels are raised, it's just you're kind of your fight or flight. You're always stressed out. When you're stressed, your cortisol levels raise. When you're feeling that, like that starts belly fat you can't lose. You're like gaining weight. You're holding on to things more because, your system is not acting correctly. So with everything going on this year, even if you aren't going through what you perceive as something incredibly stressful, you're still stressed to some level. Is that stress factoring into your healthy lifestyle or why maybe your weight isn't moving? But also don't use it as an excuse or a crutch if you're still like eating like trash and be like, it must be because I'm stressed. It's like, but it also is a factor if you feel like you're doing all the right things and nothing is budging, then stress will, I could eat completely clean, perfectly in a caloric deficit, work out. And if I'm super stressed, my body is like, just like, or I'll gain weight. And even though I'm quote unquote not doing anything wrong, like it's just stress. Well, I don't know how this year isn't just wrecked everybody. I know some people are super thriving in it. It's awesome. But it's just stress alone can ruin everything in a lot of ways.
I know. It just messes with your body.
For sure. Yeah. And even the tension of everything. And then I don't know. I know one person that did get a massage this year because I didn't know how massages were working in COVID. I didn't know if you were allowed to do it or how that's working because I feel bad for massage therapists because that seems like something that would get shut down. But, if you're not able to do that or have some sort of release, then we're all just all tight and tensed up.
I know, dude. Well, and I feel that when I start to get stressed for sure. I don't normally have any sort of back pain, but when I get stressed, that's where I feel it.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I should stop going off on tangents. I feel like I didn't focus at all for this podcast, but whatever. It's my podcast. It's my rules.
You're like a squirrel. It's
I am. I feel like that today. Today is a weird day. I feel really scattered. If you couldn't tell by listening to this.
You covered it up real well.
All right.
Nobody knew.
Well, for next week, I'm going to watch some of your movies here. I'm excited to have some new stuff to watch.
I know. It gives me something to do this weekend.
Right on. Oh my God, we're just living it up.
I know. I'm going to be like, I'm watching your favorite movie. It's Amanda.
Same. I'll be like, I'm watching all this Steve Carell stuff, which I haven't found a Steve Carell thing I don't like. So
Dan in real life it's great.
I'm psyched. So that's on the list for next week for a more focused, centered conversation.
Let's freaking hope. Jeez.
Right? Oh my
I
God.
don't even know what just happened on this podcast. I'm not even sure at this point what we talked about.
Right? What's this podcast even about?
How are you even going to title this?
Just yours are easy, man. Your titles are just easy. I don't have to think about that at all. It's my favorite.
Oh my God. You're like, no creativity.
Nope. Weekly updates. Send.
Oh my God. I'm glad I could make that easy for you.
Thank you. Yes. You're just making one thing less stressful for me, and I appreciate it. Even though you've had no say in what I title these episodes, so I'm glad that you thought you had that power.
I thought maybe you cared about my input.
No. I'm kidding.
Wow.
All right. Well, next week, let's legit have a solid plan for Sweating to the Oldies.
All right, Becca Brown.
Yeah, you know it. All the hits. All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
For info on health coaching and more, go to AmandaValentineBites.com.